Hi, I'm Captain Grant Coppin with Texas Fishing Tips, and this is your weekly fishing report.
This week has been phenomenal. The fishing's been great. We've had some really good weather. We've had north winds, we've had southeast winds, but everything's been pretty light. It's been enjoyable. Our tides are coming up, both on low tides and high tides. On the lower tides, I'm catching those reds right on this drop off here on the west side. But now that the tide is so high, those reds have moved up into this flat along these little spoil islands, and I'm catching most of them on popping corks and live shrimp, but also throwing gold spoons through those birds. And if you come up into here, you'll see pushing water, you'll see reds moving through here. They're all in here and they are staging right now. This is the time of year that they stage on these flats. Over here a little bit into the deeper water. Like I said, this is normally about a foot and a half deep. Now it's 2.5 foot deep. So this flat right here is holding some good trout. Croaker's working good, but live shrimp's doing just as good. Start your drift about right here with the southeast wind and move across this flat. Catch some good fish, mix bags, even sticking a few black drum in here. Over here in the Packard Channel, we've been catching those schools of black drum. Like I said last week, they're in here. Be respectful to the other boaters. Everybody wants to get in here and have some fun and catch those drum. If you're not in here catching the drum, the best thing to do is to put those live finger mullet out. The redfish are running through here. There's some good flounder to be caught right here around the houses and the boat docks. As you come out towards the jetties, oh man, it is on fire out here. Both morning and evening bites are red hot right around the beachfront, up and down the north and south jetties here in the Packard. Have really done well. Live finger mullet's really the ticket right now to catch those redfish. All right, I love giving this report every year. As this phenomenon happens, really it's not even a phenomenon anymore. It just happens every year at this time. Over here in Emmert's Hole, that big school of giant bull reds is showing up in here. What I recommend is early in the morning you can throw either a big finger mullet or a big croaker on this west side. You can throw cut bait, cut skipjack, cut mullet. And once the sun comes up, you can see these bulls in here just moving around. Just get in the deep water, look for those bulls. And another thing I'm running into is the big pods of black drum. And those drum are going to continue to be in here as long as the redfish are in here. So until those big schools leave, look for redfish staging. Look for the drum to come in here and start moving on the surface. Chase them with a chartreuse jig head or a pink jig head with a piece peeled shrimp, or just a live shrimp broken in half. Throwing it in front of those schools. Sometimes I just put it on a cork and throw it out there. That way if the drum don't get it, I pop that popping cork as hard as I can and make as much noise as possible to get those bull reds' attention. And you usually only get about 2 or 3 pops before it's full on scream and drag and you've got about a 30 or 40 inch bull red on. Well, this week I came over here to White Bluff and we drifted in here, caught a few fish, but those fish are real tight to the shore right now. That tide came up and they're way, way up in here, as tight as you can get, as shallow as you can float. Come up in here, look for the bait working. We caught some enormous sized skipjacks while we were looking for those trout and those reds. But just up here on the shoreline, there's some boats running through here. Don't let that worry you. Just make as many drifts as you want on this shore. The water looks great in here. Good color. Popping corks and live shrimps working real well. And out here a little deeper, once it gets hot, some of those fish are moving deep. Those redfish tend to stay up there as long as they can. But the trout will move off just a little bit if it gets too hot. But like I said earlier in the week, those north winds have kept the water a little bit cooler and kept those fish biting pretty much the majority of the day. Over here around marker 4, these deep rocks are still holding good fish. And they've been holding fish all summer. But what I like about over here is what I reported pretty much in the last 2 reports is those schools of mannings between marker 4 and the ICW Right here, it's all 6-7 foot of water. But on this down imaging, I've been able to find those big schools of menhaden and just make drifts. Whether it's blowing north, south, east, or west, this little quadrant right here with those menhaden drifting through here, popping corks, long leaders, live shrimp has been the ticket. Picking up good, solid keeper fish and an occasional 40-inch bull red mixed in with those keeper trout. Down here a little further on the Kennedy Ranch shoreline, we've been getting just good boxes of fish, good redfish, mixed trout, some really nice trout. On one of my tougher days this week when we couldn't get anything, this is where I was catching fish. We came down on this shoreline with only 2 or 3 fish in the box and were able to put a half a dozen good trout in the box and a couple of giant bull reds just drifting. I decided, let's just move down this shoreline and catch some really nice fish, and I stayed with it and it paid off. And I recommend coming down here, south wind or north wind, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you got a popping cork, a long leader, and a live shrimp, and you'll do just fine.
Captain Grant Coppin, thanks for watching.